Hello, my friends, viewers, and followers. Today I'm coming to you as my dog Angel just has died, and she's been really my best friend and companion in life, and she's been there almost for 10 years now, and she's really been my dog. I mean, I have never been so close to a dog or connected so deeply with a dog ever before. So I know everybody is saying, oh, they're more than dogs. To me, I can really truly say, yes, this dog was really more than just a dog. But I'm coming to you also. I want to give you tribute to Angel, but I also want to give you a little message. And this message is, we don't always get what we want, but we get what we need when we trust in God's will. So just to give you an example, when we're looking to get my first dog, Tadeus, there's a video if you want to know more about him. He actually died already more than a year ago, and he was almost 15. Well, when we were looking for a puppy, we looked actually for Great Danes. How did we ever end up with a Dachshound? Well, we prayed over it, and this picture of this most cute and little Dachshound kept on coming up, and we just fell in love. And we took a look at him, visited him, and we actually decided to get him instead of a Great Dane. And that was a super, super good decision, because he was the most pleasant dog, the easiest dog I have ever had in my care, and had a few foster dogs. And also grew up with dogs. And he was just so peace-loving that he would even go up to other dogs who were about to fight and go between them and make up and make peace and appease them. And he was truly an amazing dog. And I did connect with, of course, everybody has a connection with their dog. But I was the boss, and my son actually became his best friend, and they connected so deeply. And my wish to God was always that when we got my Dachshund, that he would have such a connection with the son who was at the same age, that they would grow up together and really have a deep relationship. And it happened. So when we wanted to get Angel, I picked out a Doberman. I wanted to have a Doberman puppy. So I actually went and picked one out, and it was still 3 weeks to go before we got him. And especially my mother was like, no, don't get a Doberman. They're too intense. And if you have kids over, it's really going to be difficult. Don't get one. So we started praying over it. And I said, okay, God, if you want me to get a boxer instead of a Doberman, then I will look on the internet tomorrow. And if there is a boxer, we're going to take the boxer instead of the Doberman. So the next day I looked on the internet, and there was exactly one boxer, and that was Angel. Well, they sold me Angel. And she is not, I'm sure she was not pure breed. I think she was a Rhodesian Ridgeback boxer mix. And actually, I really felt that God directed me to get her, and she was perfect, because I learned so many lessons from her that I can't even hardly tell you how much I learned. If I wouldn't have gotten her, I would have never learned leadership skills, the need to lead, and to lead with energy. And truly, I don't think it would have happened that way. She really taught me. She reflected every emotion that I had. And so I could grow. She helped me to grow into the person that I needed to become. And it was amazing. It was such a tough journey. I have to tell you that I wouldn't want to do that again, go through that process again, because it was painful. It was hurtful. It was difficult. And I have a different video on this. I think the video title is What I Learned from My Dogs, or You Can Manifest Anything You Want. I think that's the title. And I put a link underneath. And I learned so much through the process of becoming a true leader. You know, people gave up on me. People told me, oh, you can't do this. You have to be born leader. And from the dog training place, you know, I trained with her intensely. We did obedience training. We did agility. We did dog sports competition. And we got the companionship certificate. So we did all that work, and still I wasn't able to be the leader that I needed to be. And that I truly learned through her, not through the dog training place. They actually told me at the end that, you need to come to the dog training place and muzzle her or not come. So I decided not to come because it was just not a joy. It was not a joy to have her muzzled all the time. So I needed to step up the way that I was to be able to lead. And it was such a beautiful process, even though painful. It's never easy for you to have to change. At first, I wanted her to change. I wanted her to be the cuddly, golden retriever kind of dog that she would never be because she had her personality. As much as my Dachshound was the peace, loving, and peace was like his main thing that he was always aiming for, to have peace in his life and in his surroundings. So my dog Angel was a control freak. She wanted to have acknowledgement and control, the control over everything. So I really needed to step up that she knew she can trust my decisions over her decisions. And, you know, any kind of force of a control freak will not work. It didn't matter what I did, pressuring her into my will never worked. And it doesn't work in really good leadership. You have to step up and lead because you're a leader and you're leading with good and kind and pressure-free energy instead of pressuring somebody. So we got such into a flow, especially after the middle of her life. So after she was 5, maybe 6, we got such into a good flow. I mean, I've never been in a flow like that. I could look at her and she knew what I wanted. Try that with your kids and with your husband. It doesn't work for me. But this dog, I could look at her and she knew what I wanted. It was a flow. And if she was very strong-willed. So if she wanted to hunt and go after one of the big birds, out of the midst of the run, I could tell her no. And she would stop and make the conscious decision of following my lead instead of her will. And that was amazing to see in all circumstances. So she didn't like any other dogs. She didn't want to have anything to do with the dogs, despite the fact that she was well trained as a puppy. I went to the dog training place all the time. She had puppy play time. She had dog play time. But when she was 3, she decided she doesn't want any company of any other dog than my Dachshund. And so she did not have many dog friends anymore, and she didn't want to have anything to do with them. And we had to train that it's fine. You don't need to have anything to do with any other dogs, but you can stay calm and relaxed, and you don't have to worry about anything, and we can just pass by. So at the end, I could let her off the leash, no problem. She was 100%. I could call her back, and just make sure that I take care of things. If there was a dog coming, don't worry about it. I take care of it. I let you know if I need you. Same with the guarding instinct, because she was a big, huge guard dog. She never missed anything. And I trained her, if I need you, I will call you. And but it was such a guarding instinct in her that she was always on guard. But she listened and she waited and she let me take care of things. And if I needed her, she was right there. So it was just such a beautiful relationship. And I could take her anywhere. It didn't matter if it's really a train station that was full packed of people and even other dogs. It didn't matter. She behaved super. It didn't matter if she was on the train. It didn't matter if we rode the bus or we went to the mall or to a store, to a restaurant. I could just take her anywhere. She just wanted to be there. And we have lots of adventures, going hiking and climbing and everything. So despite the fact that I thought at first God didn't give me what I needed, I wanted to have, a companion, a cuddly companion. And God gave me what I needed. I needed to step up and become a leader. And she never was a cuddly dog in her life. She wasn't, the one that would sit the entire time on the couch and cuddle you for hours. That was just not her. She was a working dog. She wanted to play and have fun all the time. So first thing in the morning, there was a toy in my bed because she asked me to play with her, and she was always ready to play. So if I would lean down and wanted to cuddle with her, she immediately got up and gave me the toy. And she was a really sensitive dog as well. It's amazing because she's such strong-willed, but when, for example, one of my sons was really young, he had an emotional difficult time sometimes. He would get into, when he was 2 and 3, sometimes even 4 and 5, he would get upset and really upset, and he had really difficult to get out of this really leave me alone mode. So she would feel that, come and tickle him so long, and it didn't matter how many times he pushed her away. She wouldn't stop until he stepped out of this really emotional state. She just had so much sensitivity, and she was so in tune with me. So funny thing, she loved my family too, but in the evening, a lot of the times, my husband walked Angel for the last round. So if he put on a coat, he needed to call her 5 times until she finally came, and she's like, oh, I really don't feel like going. On the other hand, if I just looked like I'm going to put on my pants and my coat, I didn't need to call her. She was right there, ready to go with me. She was always ready to go with me. It's just this really funny connection. And even back at the dog training place, she was also the most loyal dog to me. I had scenes where this dog trainer wanted to kind of show me how it's done. We were doing agility. And she was well, give me the leash. I show you how to really do the agility course. So I thought, oh, that's not going to go well, but I didn't know exactly what to expect. So I gave her the leash, and she sat down as you do in agility. Then you let go of the leash and you say, go. And then you run beside that dog doing the course. And the dog is supposed to run either beside you. Well, Angel, a lot of the times of me, she ran a little bit forward, then waited on me, then ran again forward and waited on me. But she was always right there. Well, the dog trainer wanted to show me how it's even better done. So she told my dog to go. And my dog did the entire agility course, just leaving her behind, her eating the dust of my dog. She did the entire agility course in run round without any commands, and perfect. Then she ran all the way across the dog training place and sat down beside me in Fuß. And that was the last time that this dog trainer wanted to show me how it's done. Because my dog was really crazy. When she was young, it was crazy. She could, sometimes I would do an obedience class, playtime afterwards, an entire agility course. Then I would do another obedience course with her and then walk an hour and a half home. And after all this time, she was still not tired. This is how much energy she had. It was crazy. Wow. This is why I got a bike. I think any kind of play you can imagine. I rode bikes with her. I could go running with her. Crazy energy. I mean, she was really the most fit and agile dog ever. And I think if I wouldn't have known that God wanted me to get that boxer, you could judge me getting her, because people always tell you when you approach a puppy that is in the circumstances she was in, not to get it. Because when I first wanted to get her, she was at this place. They wanted to get rid of her because their own dog has bitten at her. And she was the wildest little thing. And I just felt like, well, that's the boxer that I needed to get. I really felt that in my heart. But on the outside, it looked really bad. She didn't even get the vaccines yet. I did not know exactly her birthday. She had no papers. I didn't know where she was coming from. And they still took quite a little bit of money. So maybe I was naive and stupid, some people could call me, but I've really felt like God showed me I needed to get that dog. And looking back, it was the best dog and the best decision I ever made. But she was crazy. I took her up in my arms, and they lived in the third store of an apartment building. And the entire time I carried her down, she bit my fingers. They told me, oh, she doesn't like to be picked up. And I wonder, how did they even, I mean, they live in the third floor, so they needed to go out with her all the time. How do they do that? Well, anyway, I just thought, oh, wait until we get downstairs. And then, because then I told her, no, you can't bite my fingers anymore. They told me, well, and they lived in a busy street. They told me that she will not go potty on the leash. I thought, how are they going to do that on a busy street with such a wild little thing? Well, yeah. Puppies usually sleep a lot because they're growing, they're digesting, and if they have done any activity, they're like out. Well, that little puppy, my little angel, I had to train her and teach her to sleep because she never slept. Otherwise, I would be like going with her for a crazy long time, for a puppy, crazy long time outside, come in, and she wouldn't find rest. She would be like jumping around nonstop. So actually, I had to train her to take a rest and sleep. Just imagine to have a puppy that you need to train, that you need to take rest. And it really was difficult to her. She was an amazing dog in other ways, though. She never destroyed anything in my home. She was the quietest dog, never barked, always paid attention, though. And if something was wrong, she growled and let me know. But she was not this kind of barky, kind of wild thing. And she was really, she ended up being really calm indoors, unless we played indoors. But she was really happy outside. And she was really my outlet of, if I had a stressful day and a lot of tension building up, I would just take her and have a play session in the yard or outside, and just have a good play session. And I even felt better afterwards. So she was really helping me in my life, to de-stress and to find my center again. And then also my leadership. So at the end, she was really, really fit until last year, where she fainted a few times. And we knew it was coming, that she had probably a heart issue, which is really common in boxers, in the boxer breed. And she fainted a few times. And we became aware of, it might not be that long until it's her time to go as well. So last year we bought some herbs that are known to strengthen the heart and the whole entire blood circulating system. And amazingly, after we gave her the herbs every single day, those fainting fits, they stopped completely. She had like the most beautiful and fit, and she was like strong and really feeling well for the past 3/4 of the year. So we had a great winter, we had still a great spring, and she felt really good until one Monday, so last week Monday, we went on a walk, an extra long walk, and 300 meters from our home, she fainted. And we knew because last year she has fainted, but every time she fainted, she was maybe gone for, maybe 30 seconds, a minute. Then she would snap out of it and be fine. So we knew that this has happened before, maybe 10 times before. This time, she laid there for maybe 10 minutes. Then she got up. We got her to get up. But she never recovered. She was exhausted. She was walking like she aged in 2 seconds. She aged 10 years. It was amazing. And it was sad to see her walk so slow and to really like suffer for the energy. So we knew that it would probably happen, that she would one day faint and maybe even not wake up because of her heart condition, or, that would be it. But she lived still 2 days, and she had really a hard time to even go potty, to walk. And on the evening where she died, she fainted on her last walk, and we had to carry her home. And I knew it was her time to come. I just knew in my heart. And she showed me in the middle of the night that she wanted to change the beds. She went into another bed in another room, and there she died in my arms. And it was a peaceful time. It was really peaceful somehow, and it was really a good closure in the sense. Like with my Dachshound, we had to put him down because of failing kidneys, and it was much harder because he left and then he went to the vet and he never came back. To die in my arms and then to see her there was a lot better for me. I mean, the closure was so much better. And even though I miss her every day, it still is like the chapter closed really well. And like I have nothing that I regret, because I've been there and I've done everything that I wanted with her. And I knew this was coming too. I prepared almost for a year for this. So before, when she last year fainted quite a bit, I was prepared that this day would come. I just didn't know it would be. Somehow, you're never prepared. Even though you know it's coming, you're never prepared. You're never ready. But time still comes, and God knows best when that time is. And it truly was good timing. It was still cold outside. We didn't have to deal with any kind of heat or anything. That would have been even harder for her. So last year already, I kind of prepared and told my husband that I don't want to wait long to get another dog. I really don't want to wait months and months to get another dog. I think I do need one fast afterwards. So we started saving money already last year for this time to come, and we didn't know when it would come. And I also started looking into dog breeds really intensively, because I didn't want to make an emotional decision on what kind of breed I would want and where I would want and how I would want it. So this is why I talked to my husband quite like a year ago already about it, that I wanted to have a puppy fast, and we looked into different breeds. And then, as always, we prayed over getting a new puppy. And I told God that I wanted his choice and not my choice. And I wanted the choice to be very obvious. So, interesting enough, we told a friend who has a giant schnauzer that we absolutely love, that we wanted to have a puppy maybe, and maybe a giant schnauzer. And we left it in the room. The next day, he sent us an email of all the breeders that had puppies right now. And I called the whole entire list through, and it's crazy. Because even litters that had like 16 puppies that were born 12 days ago were all reserved, each and every puppy. So there was like a whole list of entire Germany of giant schnauzers, all gone, each one. So there was one breeder left that, we wanted a black giant schnauzer, and we were looking into it. And I told my husband, well, maybe we need to look at other breeds and see, maybe God wants another breed. And we found that, there's still this salt and pepper color giant schnauzer that are more wired hair, like my Dachshound. And I called them, and the lady was like, well, did you see my ad? I said, no. I'm calling from the breeder's page, and I saw that you have a litter. And she said, well, I do have one puppy left that I put in just now because I actually wanted to keep him. But because I'm expecting another litter yet, I don't think I can keep him, because I wanted to use him for breeding, because he's like the sweetest dog, but I wouldn't have enough time for him. So this is why I gave him for adoption this morning. So we truly took it as a sign that this is going to be the dog, our next dog, that we actually are going to get. Today is, as I'm filming this, is Wednesday, and we're going to get him on Friday. I know this is really fast, but I asked God for fast. I also asked God for Angel not to suffer long, because I really prayed. I didn't want to see her suffer long, and I wanted her to die in my arms. And I mean, God just heard my prayers. He really did. And he also heard my prayers about the dog. And if God will, we're going to get that dog on Friday, the new puppy. And he is not what we expected. Like, we wanted to have a black, but we're going to get the salt and pepper. And I asked God to give me a puppy fast, and he did. Don't think that all my prayers are being answered, because they're not. Don't think that, oh, she's just asking God and snap, she gets everything that she wants. No, it's not working that way. It's really, I'm always combining my will to God's will. I'm only asking him, and then I tell him, your will be done. And I surrender to his divine will. I truly do. And I ask for many, many things in my life that I haven't received, believe me. But I've learned that the best decisions and the best ways is God's will, not your will, and not pressing your will through. So no matter what is going to happen, even if I don't get that puppy, then it somehow it's God's will. I'm truly believing that in the divine will, God's will. And if you align your will and you don't try to press God into your will, but you truly are open for changes, like we wanted to have a Great Dane, but we got a Dachshound, then the best things are coming your way. And with Angel, it looked like she was the totally wrong dog for me. I mean, truly, we're at the beginning, it was chaos, non-stop. And it was hard and difficult, but it was exactly what I needed, and not maybe what I wanted or thought I wanted. So I really wanted to put that on your heart, to align yourself with God's will. That's the most important lesson that I can give you today, and that I've learned in my life, that God's will is truly the best. And even though the timing sometimes seems way off. It isn't. It isn't. It's always the best timing. God's timing is the best timing, and His will is the best will. And sometimes it looks horrible, and it doesn't look like anything will line up, but His will is the best will, and He knows what He's doing. And I really wanted to ask you to choose God's life. And I'm so thankful that I have had Angel as my life's companion. She was the best dog, the hardest time I ever had with her, but it changed into beauty. Truly ashes, where I cried, and I thought about when she was around 4, about giving up and like finding someone else as the owner. But I fought through, and it became the most beautiful, beautiful thing ever. So I'm so grateful to God that He gave me Angel, who was truly my angel. Even though I didn't believe it for the longest time that she could ever be my angel, she was my angel. She helped me so much. She helped me learn so much. And yeah, it was the most beautiful, beautiful chapter of my life. And I'm looking forward of a new chapter opening. So as I said, we are going to get a giant schnauzer, and I chose the name. It's going to be Samwise Gamgee. So it's going to be my Sam. I wish you the most beautiful day. Maybe you were interested. Maybe, hopefully you weren't bored. I just wanted to share this with you, and maybe you can take a lesson or two away. Maybe you're in a difficult situation yourself, with people, with relationships, or with your animal or dog. Choose God's will. God bless you. I wish you a wonderful day.